All right, so I'm gonna start this off with the idea of I believe I have a I think I have a maybe not just me but when talking about me or maybe people can relate to this, I don't know, but I feel like I have some kind of I had the word. I have the word, but there was a word. Okay, responsibility. All right. But I had a word before that. I feel like I have some kind of like I have to take responsibility in a certain way. Now, let me get into this. It's not as easy as you think. Now, since I've been younger, right, and I've talked about, I literally talked about when I was a kid. They introduced a rule. I think it was fourth or fifth grade. They said for mathematics that every time you did the equation, you couldn't just write the answer. Like, and I still till today I don't know how to do long division. I never learned it, but I somehow got through without learning it by just multiplying and do. Anyways, 112 divided by 6. Okay, I think that does that no doesn't it doesn't perfectly divide, right? But there's a decimal and whatever. Now you put the now you used to be when I was starting out that you just put answers. Whenever there was a math question, you put the number answer and it's done. Now they implemented a rule in the curriculum when I was in fifth grade where you had to show your work. And you got 1 mark for showing your work. So if you got 1 mark for the right answer, you got 1 mark for showing your work. So if you put that answer, you got to show how you got to that answer. This is called show your work. And I didn't know how to show my work. I didn't know how to, oh, well, I did this. I didn't know how to do it. So I didn't show my work. Now, now when I get back to so here's the thing. When I was growing up, I kind of picked up, I don't know, I learned it kind of on my own or how I picked it up, but I picked it up that you don't have to reveal what you're doing all the time. And the same goes with businesses. The same goes with restaurants. You know, from your best grandmother apple pie to your popular little restaurant, a lot of times people will say this is a secret sauce, this is a secret ingredient, because they don't want to give away their recipe. Okay, you see what I'm saying? We are taught, we are conditioned at a young age that there are certain things that you don't talk about. You know, if you learn how to do something, or if you learn something that's cool, if you learn something that has an advantage, you keep it to yourself and you use it for yourself. If you want to disclose it, you got to disclose it to a close friend, a close associate, somebody that you trust, and you got to disclose it to somebody. Okay, I learned this. It's like that, and you got to keep in mind that they may do it with somebody else or whatnot. Now, I am owed, I kind of owe a little bit of responsibility. What happens if you're getting very big and you're very, just like the restaurant. The restaurant's doing very big, they're very successful, the chef is the owner, for example, okay? Someone approaches them, says, we want to market your restaurant. We're going to put it on TV, okay? You just got to show us the basic of how you cook it, put it together. You show us the final product, we taste it, and we tell you if it's good or not, and it goes on TV. They do it at the restaurant, gets them a lot of stuff. Now, it's up to the chef. The chef has to make a decision here. Is he gonna put his tops, like his best dish up there, his signature dish? No. He's gonna tell you it's a signature dish and it's a lesser dish that's still good. And he's gonna maybe withhold a few ingredients. Well, let's say he gives you all the ingredients, but he's gonna give you a dish that's kind of more common. He's not gonna give you his best signature dish to do right there. Wouldn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? I don't feel the need to explain it in other contexts, in other examples of business or whatnot, because it should be evident there. Now, moving on, it's like okay, so I actually ended up taking unconventional education and making it mine from the base level and then creating. Okay. I was always a very unconventional thinker. And I'll tell you, I was briefly exposed to criminals or criminality, but very briefly and very little. I had this feeling that I wanted to stay away from criminals, and the reason was that I wanted to grow. So I didn't want to join a gang at a young age as a teenager, and you know what I mean. I wasn't into that. You know what I mean. I didn't want to do that. You know, I didn't want to hang out with them because I was kind of worried, like if things are going down, who's gonna get caught, what's gonna happen, how real is the situation gonna get. You know what I mean? I was very aware of those things. I ended up joining very late, just before I turned, about 6 months before turning 25. I robbed the bank, right? But I really jumped in there, you know. And that was through an elite police contacts, okay, like elite police contacts. Like I'm talking about guys who could like rob a fucking bank, all right? You know what I mean? I'm talking about some serious guys who could go with Blackwater halfway across the world. Yeah, I'm talking insane stuff. By the way, insane is a big thing. Every gang in Chicago, I'm the insane this. Like their cliques or their neighborhoods, we're the insane this. Everybody loves throwing insane in there. We're insane. Like insane is supposed to be crazy the shit. So, anyways, so no, we were talking about responsibility. Now, how does this guy start doing this? So, let's see. Where did we begin? So, it wasn't that long ago. It was about I would say last year, around May or June. No, around May. Around May, I started learning basic coding. Okay. And I learned, and I'll tell you a little bit of, you know what? I'll give you a little bit of my secret. I learned basic coding myself. Like I created everything. I didn't take content and go, oh, that's how you do basic coding. I didn't do that. I learned basic coding myself. I took numbers and I started studying numbers. I started doing square roots and I started doing everything I could. I just started writing like crazy and nobody could understand what I was writing. I would write like crazy. Or I'll tell you what I did once. I took ramen noodles, right? They come in a box. I took the box out. When you take the box and you fold it out, it's cardboard on the back and you can write on it and it gives you like this much to write on, okay? The whole box. You extend it and it comes out, right? I took like 10 of those boxes and I just went at it. I was drawing symbols. I came up with symbols, with numbers, with pictures. I'm not an artist, by the way, but I made basic pictures, like scribble pictures. I was scribbling all sorts of stuff, creating a coding language and creating coding with how I understand it and which is applicable to my life. I really did that. I learned to use coding and take that, and because the thing is, that level one, that stage of level one, I started. Meaning that there was nobody else who had that specific type of coding. I started that, okay? I began that, meaning there's nobody better even if I'm at level one. So I took it at level one and I really advanced it and I started applying it to real life situations and real life things. And I gotta tell you, every single idea for that 100% is owned by me, 100% is created by me. I call it coding for practical life, but it's not something people can use. The whole design behind it is that, first of all, it's impossible to show the work, which is great. And number one. Number two, the thing about it is that it only applies to me specifically in my life, meaning that somebody else trying to use it for their own life cannot use it because they cannot understand it. They cannot comprehend it because it has to fit that particular life, that particular person. So it was pretty much made for me and it was created by me. That's a secret that I'll tell you. I was doing so many equations. Like I one time I had paper and I was just going through double-sided, just non-stop. Equation. And it seemed crazy. Eventually I got really good at it. I started using numbers for practical life. That led me into coding. That led me into other stuff. I started reflecting on my history, finding out things that I never knew. Like, wow, wait a sec, and I still can't believe. Like, I figured it out. I got in touch with somebody remotely, not talking face to face. I got in touch with somebody a year prior to that. No, not a year. Yeah, almost a year prior to that. In 2021? We're in 22, right? We were in 2020 at the time. 2020 summer, I got introduced remotely to somebody. I got a tip that there was somebody flying into Calgary or something from another country. I got this tip and they told me that tomorrow he's going to fly in and he's going to try to get in touch with you indirectly. That's what I was told. The next day he came and the promise was fulfilled. The person I was fucking with before was actually trying to get me killed. Like literally, he was trying to get me, like he had been trying to get me killed. So he was giving me these euphoric euphemisms and these euphoric songs to listen to and this advice about this girl that I can date who was also going to have me hurt or fucked up or killed, right? And he was trying to make that happen. He knew that she was powerful and crazy enough to do it. I don't know where she is now. Anyways, he was just basically just screwing with me. because he was obsessed with, I gotta kill this, I gotta get him dead. Somehow, it went on for 14 months that he was fucking with me. And this whole time I'm working with him. Hey, I haven't really met anyone like you. You're very intelligent. I'm intelligent. If we put our stuff together, I can really learn from you. But learning always comes at a cost. And he was literally trying to have me killed. Literally. Anyway, so I get this tip that there's somebody else coming in. I get a tip that this individual is very, he is supposed to be the man. He's highly intelligent and all this stuff. So I'm dealing with him remotely, right? I'm communicating with him remotely and indirectly. And that only lasted about 2 months. But in those 2 months, I learned so much. Now, he also did screw with me. He tried to convince me that I had more children and that they were belonging to me, and he was lying to me. His whole agenda was to use me because he thought that I was very marketable in this world and that he could use me in order to, for his own personal projects. He could use me, he could use my mind, he could use my marketability to get his goals done and his tasks done. In the process, I learned a lot. And I learned about myself, I learned about him. We were similar kind of people, so I learned about him, I learned about myself. Now, that opened up a whole chapter of stuff. And then I started learning about myself. Like, oh man, wow. Holy, I had no idea. Everything makes sense now. It was beautiful. And he really helped me. That was was it 2021? That was 2020 summer. Okay, he left in the fall. He leaves, right? Now he leaves and I'm on my own now. But he didn't tell me that he wanted to leave. He was pressured to leave. Okay, after only about 2 months, he was pressured to stop communicating with me, right? I knew it. So he started giving me hints, kind of giving me that, a little bit of pain, here and there, you know what I mean? Well, he was trying, and he gave me, he was giving me hints, and I took his hints and said, okay, I'll be good on my own, which I wasn't. But somehow, after fucking with him, it opened my mind to so many things. I was like, wow. And some of them were false. Some of the things he was just feeding me bullshit that I was believing. Some of it was true. Eventually, the following year, that I started coding. I started taking numbers. I was obsessed. I'd say beginning of 2021, I was obsessed with numbers and all this. I was creating coding language and everything that fit me and myself. That's how I started learning to do things different from other people. That's what Bill Gates did. Bill Gates wasn't born with confidence. I'm going to be this amazing. No, he wasn't. He created that code when he was about 16 years old. He started coding when he was 11. He wasn't doing anything level 1. So he got advanced at it and faster than other people. At 16, he already had his codes. By the time he was going to college or whatever, he had Microsoft all ready to go. Okay. He had Microsoft ready to go. He probably made contacts in the college too. Now he's got Microsoft ready to go. He knows he can drop out of college and become a billionaire or a millionaire or whatever, right? It's kind of similar. Now I took those codes and I started using them unconventionally, but it was all like created by me, like it was born to me by me, and I used that to just advance. And then then I learned. I was like, holy shit, dude! I took it to a next level. And I won't talk about but it's known. Some people know. Dude, even the feds were like, what the hell's going on? I knew, there were people in my life who were like, what the hell is going on? How is he doing this? This is crazy. You know what I mean? And then I started figuring things out, It was crazy. I eventually left it because what I did is I created all these codes and I left, I'll tell you when I left it about the end of November of last year. The end of November of last year, I left all the codes because I had already completed them. I completed my mission. I had a goal and a mission to code a certain amount that I called the Bible. Okay, the Bible was also a book created by me, right? It was a book that I created, a book that I mentally created that was called the Bible. And I would use the Bible to use my coding language. Okay, I'll get on the next video. Hold on.